The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
With so many people living longer, the fear of outliving your money becomes a reality for many of us. Will I be a financial burden? Will I outlive my money? How will I be remembered? My name is Neil Himmelstein, president of Main Street Planning Group. Please contact me by visiting mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. I will introduce you to strategies that will guarantee you will not outlive your money, that can guarantee you will not be a burden on your loved ones. Through a collaborative approach, we will uncover solutions that offer tax-efficient strategies, lifetime income, and legacy planning, choice, organization, direction, and education. That is the code we stand behind. Contact mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. And listen to me every Friday at 3 p.m. as I host the Main Street Code for Financial Success, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I'm here every Friday at 3 o'clock. And when we talk about our code, we talk about choice, organization, direction, and education. And we help hundreds of advisors across the United States with their needs in life insurance, long-term care, disability, annuities, and life settlements for those who want to sell their policy and when they get older and they don't want their policy anymore. We like to look at doing that. Today, I want to talk a little bit about numbers. You know, I loved math when I was a kid. I drove my math teachers crazy because they love to give you these formulas, and I always had to break it down and say, you know, I need to know how you came up with a formula. You can't just give me A plus B equals C. You got to tell me, how did you get that? How did I used to graph things out and do everything else. But what I don't like is people throw numbers around, that aren't true, and they manipulate them to think so that you can think a certain way. And I want to tell you the real numbers. So the thing that bothered me is I was listening on the radio, and I let me just use this for round numbers. They said gas prices went up from $3 to $4, but they didn't say that. They said they went up 25%. They didn't go up 25%. $3 to $4 is actually 1/3 or 33%, because 1/3 of $3 is $1. I like round numbers, right? So 3 plus 1 is 4, so it's 33% gas prices went up. Now, if all of a sudden we settle the Iran conflict and everything, gas prices hopefully will come down. So let's say they went down 25% from $4. What will we come to? $3. Well, wait a minute. It went up 33% and down 25%, and we're still at $3. That's crazy, right? But when you do that over a number of years, this is what mutual funds do when they average it out, what the average is. So the mutual fund's going to say, hey, we averaged 33 minus 25. We averaged 8% growth. But wait a minute, I only have $3. It's now worth $3. What do you mean? You average growth was 8%. I'm at the same thing I was at. But this is what they do. They'll take a 10-year average. So we have people, politicians, whatever, lying and saying the number is this, the number is that, and not really looking at the percentages. And why do the percentages really matter anyhow? They matter when you're trying to do comparisons and real statistical understanding of what you're buying. So when we look at these mutual funds, I'm not saying they're bad or good. Just be very careful when they say, oh, this is averaged. You know, back in the 90s when I was in this mutual fund game, I would look at it and they say, oh, this one averaged 20%, this one averaged 21%. They didn't account for the negatives. Now, wouldn't it be great if we could invest in the market and have no negatives? This is what I call the power of zero. There's a way of doing it. So whether it's in the market or anything else, a lot of people and a lot of insurance companies are now using indexing. And on the fixed side, indexing is very interesting. And if you could just picture in your head walking up a set of stairs, and you know how a stair goes. It goes like, it goes up, and then flat, and up, and flat, and up, and flat, and up, and flat. That's what a stair looks like. Now, if you buy an index product in a life insurance, and you use this indexing strategy, or they have it in annuities as well, and we could talk about the difference of why you'd want to do one versus the other. Isn't it great that in a down market, because we have down markets, if you just buy stocks in the market, you buy a mutual fund, it's going to go up and down and up and down and up and down. We're invading Iraq. Okay, we're invading Iran. Boom, the stock market goes down. Wait a minute, we're in peace. Okay, it's going up. Okay, and this guy made a deal over here. Okay, it's down again. Whoop, it's up. Whoa. It's a lot to think about. But if you could control it, and I call this the power of zero. Zero can be your hero. How can zero be a hero? I hate funny expressions, but zero is your hero. So if you can buy an investment that just works like steps, not like the up and down zigzag, that's what you can buy inside an index life policy. And the way it works is, when the market goes down, you don't get anything, but you don't lose anything. So when the market goes up, you can take advantage of it. Isn't that wonderful? That's the steps. So I want to go up in steps, not like up and down, up and down. Because, when you hit a certain age, you can't take those downs as much as you could when you were younger, You can't take the hits. As a little kid, I could take the hit. I can't take the hit now. You take the hit, it's going to take that much to come back. Going from $3 to $4 was a big jump. Going from $4 back to $3, I got a lot of work to do, if that makes sense. Same thing with the market. I take a big hit, it takes a long time to come back up to where I was. I got a lot less to work with if I'm in the market. Listen, if I buy 10 bananas, okay, and then the market shoots up and now I have 12 bananas, okay? And then it goes down and I'm down to 9 bananas. I got to work that much harder to get back to my 10, let alone that 12, because of the whole percentage game. It's just the way it works, because I'm working with less bananas to accumulate assets. So when we look at this index, what it does is zero becomes your hero, because out of every 10 years, we may have 3 years that are bad. It's great that we have 7 years that are good, but wouldn't it be great if I hit zero on those years and still got to partake in that index that really tracks the market? Now, the only downside, and there's a slight downside, is there's a cap on the growth. There's always a cap. There's always a trade-off. So maybe I can only make up to 9% or 10% on the good years. But on the bad years, those zeros are fantastic. It takes away a lot of the stress. So zero is your hero. Now, when we buy it inside a life insurance contract, and they call it universal index universal life insurance, one of the great things is not only does it do zero on a bad year, zero is your hero. When I come to take the money out, there's zero in taxes. Zero. Wait a minute. How is that possible? Because the way life insurance is put together, you have this unbelievable ability to put money in, invest in an index so I can still kind of be in the market. I don't have to follow it, but be in it, be in the game when we have the growth. And you know what? If it's not growing and we got a problem, or we have a depression or a recession or something, I'm okay. Didn't hurt me at all. Matter of fact, it's actually better in one respect. You hit a 0 year, that next year comes back like crazy. So that zero sometimes can really boost up the years past, because that's the way the market rolls. So 0 can be your hero. Now, the other advantage of buying it inside a life insurance contract is the money. You can put unlimited amounts of money. There's no restrictions like an IRA or anything else. Unlimited amounts. You can take it out anytime you want. No taxes. It grows without taxes. And there's a thing called life insurance component to it. If you pass away, it goes to your heirs with what? No taxes. 0 can be your hero, and 0 is your hero when you buy Index Universal Life. You're listening to Neil Himmelstein. I'm with Main Street Code for Financial Success. Best way to reach me is 631-647-4694. That's 631-647-4694, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein, and before the break, we were talking about Index Universal Life and how indexing works. Remember the stairs. The stairs is the key, because when the market's down, you get nothing, but when the market's up, you get to participate in that market, and what a fantastic thing. We're also doing a lot with that in annuities. And why would we use an annuity and not life insurance? Well, a lot of times at retirement, we really want our money to grow because we're depending on it for a long time in the future. But we don't necessarily want to take the risk. And guess what? When we stop working or we slow down and we're not working as many hours, you can't afford the down market. You just can't afford it. That down market can ruin your plans. So, remembering the steps in an index annuity, you still get that power of 0. You get that tax-deferred growth, just like you do in life insurance, and you get the advantage of maximizing the market. But when the market goes down, there comes your 0. 0 is your hero. So, once again, we're doing a lot with retirement and index annuities, whether it's people who have regular CDs or regular money, or even your 401k and retirement money, you can roll over into what we call an index annuity that can give you all these benefits of still having a taste in the market and not having to follow it, and taking advantage of the market when it goes down. You still get the benefit of never losing a dollar. It's a huge, huge planning tool. So we talked about index life insurance, which you can take money out tax-free. You have a tax-free death benefit. And index annuities, where the money can grow and grow and grow with no downside protection. Now, while we're on the subject of annuities, there's another little thing that they put on these index annuities now that I think is a fabulous tool, which is, okay, I'm accumulating this money. They can put on these index annuities, and they can do it on life insurance, by the way, a guaranteed income rider, so that your money is still invested and you can get a guaranteed income stream for the rest of your life and still have your money invested, which I love. I love the idea of flexibility and safety. Safety of principle and flexibility, and an income stream that I can't outlive. What a combination. So you use that combination of index annuities and index life insurance, and you got part of the game licked. Now here's the other partner in this whole equation. Uncle Sam is our partner. And those who listen to my show on a regular basis understand that taxes are always a thing, is a big consideration. The problem I have now is, well, let's just talk about the assets we have. So Social Security is an interesting thing. Social Security is due to run out in 2030. Now, the longer you wait to take Social Security, the higher the amount they're going to give you, because it's based upon your life expectancy. So if you're older when you decide to take out Social Security, they're going to give you, the government will give you more money, because it's basically an annuity. That's what Social Security is. It's an annuity. And then if you pass away and there's a survivor benefit, That's what an annuity does, because that's what Social Security is, everybody. It's an annuity. However, you don't have control of the investments in Social Security. There's been a lot of talk about it, but you don't. But actuarially, that's how they have it figured out. Now, there's another element of Social Security. Yes, they may run out of money. Okay? B, they also give you inflation adjustments if you wait every year. And even if you don't, even if you're on Social Security, every year there's a slight inflation adjustment. But that's not necessarily going to cover your expenses. The one thing they never adjusted with Social Security, and people never talk about, they started to talk about it a little bit, but if you make over $44,000, it becomes taxable. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been investing in this since I was 20 years old. I'm now in my 60s. 40-some years of investments, and now I got to pay taxes on every one of these dollars? This is really killing me. So, if you make over $44,000, they've never adjusted that limit. If you make less than $44,000, okay, it's tax-free. But they never adjusted that $44,000 number. It's killing me. So, if you're depending on Social Security, and you're making less than $44,000, and you're living on Long Island, I hope you're not eating cat food and living under a bridge, because living here costs a lot more than $44,000 to live. So you're making over that with Social Security, you're paying taxes on it, which means you're getting less money than you hoped for, because now taxes are coming out of it. So that's not enough for your retirement. So consider Social Security, if you're doing your planning, to be a taxable instrument. Your 401k, which you've taken deductions for, or your IRAs, they're all taxable. What do you have coming in tax-free at retirement? Now, when you're on the tail end, you're like, oh, shoot, I can't do anything. But maybe you could talk to your kids about, hey, how about that index universal life insurance? How about that thing? Or whole life insurance? How about that? You still want to participate in the market but never pay taxes. I mean, wouldn't it be great to have an envelope that says, hey, I got this tax-free envelope, but you don't have to take that money out. But wouldn't it be great to have that option of not having to take every asset and be taxable to you? So your Social Security is taxable, your retirement is taxable. If you're lucky enough to have a pension, it's taxable. So everything at retirement, except for life insurance or Roth IRA, is taxable to you. So a lot of people, a lot of these financial advisors are all high on these Roth IRAs. I am too. But they don't talk to you about Roth IRAs until you're ready to retire. Well, let's convert all this and go to a Roth IRA. Well, guess what? If you haven't been investing in Roth IRAs all this time, you wouldn't be having this conversation today. But you wake up one day and you realize how much taxes you're going to pay. And, oh, yeah, let me convert this to a Roth IRA. Well, how about you investing in Roth IRAs when you're younger so that you have this tax-free income? Well, you can't do that, especially if you're funneling money into your 401k, because they limit how much you can put in your Roth IRA. Now, you can put it in a Roth 401k. I love that. That's a new thing in the last 5 or 10 years. That's something you should be doing. But not a lot of advisors talk about it. They talk about it after the fact. So what I'm telling you, if you have children and you say, wow, I should have bought this life insurance a long time ago and have this tax-free bucket, well, come talk to us. Let's set it up now so your kids can have this great tax-free bucket when they get to be your age. And if you still have time, if you're in your 50s, you still have time to put money into this vehicle and take money out tax-free. And guess what? Forgot to tell you, there's a death benefit. Okay? It's actually life insurance. So for every dollar, you may be leveraging thousands and thousands of dollars that you can leave as a legacy. And today's life insurance contracts also have living benefits. So you can get a long-term care with that. You can get, if you have a heart attack, you can get benefits from that life insurance policy that you established at a younger age. So if you're talking to your kids, even yourselves, Look at these options in doing your whole plan. It's so important to have adequate life insurance and annuities. And think about indexing options as some of your options. You've been listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. Best way to reach me is 631-647-4694. Call me with any questions you have, any planning needs you have between you, your parents, your loved ones. Let's give us a call and let's give you a hand. Thanks. Have a great weekend, everybody.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.